Imagine a nearly perfect week-long holiday. Sunshine, laughter, the best days of your year. And then, on the way home, the flight is delayed 6 hours, your bag gets lost, and you arrive exhausted and furious. Now, weeks later, how do you remember that trip? For a lot of people, the whole thing feels tainted. 6 brilliant days, quietly overwritten by one bad ending. And there's a precise reason why. It feels irrational. 6 wonderful days should easily outweigh a few bad hours. But your memory doesn't do maths. It doesn't add up every moment and take the average. It's doing something far stranger, and once you understand it, you'll never trust your own memories in quite the same way again. Psychologists discovered that when we look back on an experience, our memory of it is built almost entirely from just 2 moments. The most intense point, the peak, and the way it ended. That's it. Everything in between gets compressed, blurred, and mostly thrown away. They call it the peak-end rule. And here's the truly wild part. The length of the experience barely counts at all. Whether something good or bad lasted 5 minutes or 5 hours, your memory hardly cares. Scientists call this duration neglect. Your remembering mind isn't keeping a stopwatch. It's keeping snapshots, the highest moment and the last moment. Researchers proved this in ways that sound almost cruel. In one study, people put a hand in painfully cold water. Then they tried a second version, the same cold water for longer, but with the water warmed slightly at the very end. Objectively, that second one had more total discomfort. But because it ended more gently, people remembered it as better. And astonishingly, when asked which to repeat, they chose the longer, more painful one. A better ending beat less total pain. The same pattern showed up in medical studies, where procedures that ended on a milder note were remembered as far less unpleasant overall, even when they actually lasted longer. Your memory would rather have a longer ordeal with a soft landing than a short one that ends at its worst. The ending doesn't just matter. Practically rewrites the whole story. There's a beautiful way to think about this. You actually contain 2 different people. There's the experiencing self, the one living through each moment as it happens. And there's the remembering self, the one who tells the story afterward and decides whether you'd ever do it again. They often completely disagree. And it's the remembering self that wins, because it's the one holding the pen. You've felt this everywhere. A fantastic meal soured by one rude comment as you left. A concert judged entirely by whether they played the right encore. Even how we remember whole relationships gets colored by how they ended. The middle, all those ordinary, good, real moments quietly fades. The peak and the ending shout the loudest. Quick pause. If this just made you see something totally ordinary in a completely different way, that is your cue to subscribe. It's free, it takes 1 second, and it genuinely helps this channel grow. Tap the like button while you're there, and if you've spotted a hidden real reason of your own, tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Right back to it. And plenty of people have quietly figured this out. This is why a good hotel leaves a little treat on your pillow. Why a restaurant sends out a free something at the end. Why a great show saves its biggest moment for the encore. Why a shop hands you a small gift at checkout. They're not just being nice. They're engineering your last impression, because they know that's the one you'll carry home. So let's put this to work for you. First, design your endings on purpose. However you finish something is how you'll remember all of it. So end your workday by tidying one thing and noting a win, instead of collapsing mid-panic. End a trip with something lovely, not a mad dash. End a tough workout, a class, a visit, a project on a deliberate high note. A good ending is the cheapest way to buy a good memory. And second, and this one really matters, when something wonderful gets ruined by a bad ending, catch your mind in the act. Remind yourself that duration neglect is warping the tape. That awful airport didn't actually delete 6 beautiful days. They happened. They were real. Your remembering self is just a dramatic storyteller who overweights the finale. You're allowed to overrule it. Your memory was never a recording. It's a highlight reel, stitched together from your highest moments and your final ones. That's not a flaw to be angry at. It's a lever you can actually pull. Craft your endings, forgive the bad ones, and you get to shape not just what happens to you, but how you'll remember your whole life. Your memory quietly lies to you about the past, but something in your pocket lies to you every single day. That battery percentage on your phone? is far less honest than you think. Next time, the surprising reason your phone's battery number isn't really telling you the truth. See you then.